Smackdown 3/8/24, 4 weeks away from WrestleMania. The Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, all in the building. Face to face. How did it all go down? This is the official amplified review. A lot of traveling on the horizon, not a lot of time. Big swig of coffee. Let's do this. All 4 participants in the Mania tag match arrive to the building and they're immediately paired with security via orders from Nick Aldis. So Roman Reigns, The Rock, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, from the time they get to the arena, they're paired with security and they stay with them for the entire night. I like the concept. The Rock had the best arrival. He was like in a beat-up, because they're in Texas, I believe, Dallas. So they show up. Rock shows up in a beat-up Bronco, I believe. Cowboy hat in tow. And then you had Roman Reigns. He had the normal kind of walking the hallway to get to his dressing room. But it was hilarious. He stopped for a second to turn around and look at his security. And he couldn't help but laugh. And I don't blame him, because not one of Roman Reigns' security looked like they were a day above 16 years old. They all look like a bunch of high schoolers. So Roman Reigns just starts cracking up before he goes into his personal locker room / dressing room. That was kind of funny. Cody Rhodes is just wandering the corridors with a coffee and a cheesy smile that he always has on. He's just smiling at anything. There's nobody even there. He's like smiling at the wall. But that smile turned into a frown the second he ran into Sethington Rollins, who looks like he raided the last dress that his wife Becky Lynch just purchased from her own closet at home. Sethington is wearing it first, Becky. I don't know what Seth was wearing, man, but I never usually do. But Cody Rhodes' smile turns into a frown, and then they start walking off with their joint security. So anyway, I like this. I like the start. There was no pyro. There was nothing over the top, but it was better than the norm, which is usually just a camera on the outside of the arena. Usually it's raining. Michael Cole or a Corey Graves or a Kevin Patrick or a Vic Joseph. They're just like, hello, everybody. Welcome to Raw or SmackDown. We have a good show for you tonight. And by the time they're done with that intro, everybody is already cuddled up with a Snuggie and a hot cup of cocoa, ready for a nap. So I like this, man. Build a little bit of intrigue, you know? All these dudes are showing up. They're paired with security. It makes you feel like something special is happening tonight. Now, if it did, that's another story. We'll talk about that. But for the start, I like this. Again, it's better than the norm. Now, segment 1 starts with Logan Paul. He announces his Prime Drink company has partnered with WWE. And he unveils a ridiculous giant Prime bottle printed on the matte canvas. He says it's gonna permanently be printed on that canvas for every PLE going forward, starting with WrestleMania. And BC is thinking that better be a joke, or they better make it dramatically smaller, because that atrocity is way too distracting. That's all I could think of. There's no way I'm watching wrestling with that giant bottle in the middle of the ring, bro. But anyway, Logan Paul, he introduces his good buddy and business partner KS1. Then Randy Orton's music hits. They're all looking up the aisleway, but of course Orton's not showing up. Orton sneaks up behind Logan Paul, and he attempts an RKO, but Paul escapes. KS1, not so lucky. KS1 gets hit with an RKO. Orton then pours an entire bottle of Prime onto KS1's private region. The ultimate humiliation, as Paul looks on, none too pleased. Very happy to see in this segment that it was just Orton and Paul. You didn't need KO, right? That's what I was thinking. You don't need to make this a triple threat at WrestleMania. We see enough schmaz matches. We've already seen Logan and KO a couple of times. Randy Orton, Logan Paul. Literally all you need to do. I loved seeing this segment with just them two. But not so fast, BC. Because Q2, would feature the first match of the night. And this was, speaking of KO, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in a tag match against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Orton RKO's Theory for the W, and post-match, Logan Paul appears in the ring, drops both Orton and KO, and then Paul was going to deliver a brass knuckle shot to Orton, but Orton was able to pry the brass knucks from the clutches of Paul, and then Logan is able to escape, frustrated. So, just as I was happy to see Randy Orton and Logan Paul by themselves, of course, KS1 was just he was the middleman just to take an RKO, so you don't get too much physicality yet between Randy and Logan. I'm cool with that. But just as I was happy to see just those two, no KO, not so fast. Just a few minutes later, there's KO and Randy Orton in a tag team, and Logan's taking them both out. The friction is still heavily between Randy Orton and Logan, so maybe they're still trying to figure it out. At this point in the show, that's what I'm thinking. You know, maybe they don't know if they should be adding KO. But this is one of those situations where you should have left good enough alone. You know, you got to know when to leave good enough alone. Segment 1 got a good response. After segment 2, the crowd really didn't know what to think. They didn't know where this Logan Paul thing was going with. So even though you have two big faces in the ring, Orton and KO, when it was all said and done, the crowd really didn't know how to react. So they probably should have just left it like it was in Q1. It was well done. Q2, not surprised, right? Anything Austin Theory is involved in, and unfortunately Grayson Waller as well, it's probably going to be a dud. And that's sad to say, but the ratings will tell you that. The interest from the crowd live, and most people at home will tell you that. Then we go to a backstage sit-down interview with the ultra-beautiful Kayla Braxton, looking even more ultra-beautiful than usual. She's in a sit-down interview with Bayley. Bayley discusses the rise and fall of Damage Control, mistakes she's made along the way, how she built Damage Control, but she assures everybody she will end Damage Control. Then we cut to Bianca Belair and Naomi backstage discussing Bayley's situation. Naomi feels bad for Bayley, and Belair is trying to tell Naomi not to feel bad for her. She made her bed, now she's got to lie in it. I like how Bianca Belair is not willing to forgive so easily. So, you know, I had this idea of Tiffany, Stratton, and Naomi tagging up to take the Kabuki Warriors championships at WrestleMania. At this moment, I'm thinking, are they going to put Belair and Naomi together? They have nothing for Naomi, and they have nothing for Belair. So that could be a solution. And speaking of Tiffany Stratton, which they have nothing for Mania, Tiffany Stratton is up next. She defeats Munchkin in a quick match just to show the world that Tiffy time is now. And the most beautiful moonsault ever just got more beautiful. Tiffany Stratton continues to get... I had Kayla Braxton back-to-back with Tiffany Stratton. You don't get better than that, man. You talk about beautiful. But Tiffany Stratton defeats Munchkin, and then they mention WrestleMania, but there's still nothing at this moment for Belair. There's nothing for Naomi. There's nothing for Stratton. Jade Cargill, we're still hearing nothing about. There are a lot of females that still have nothing for Mania that have to be on the show. But for Bayley and Io, this is kind of weak build, man. This is not what I thought or was expecting or was hoping for Bayley and Io. This is very, very mid AF and even worse. AJ Styles and LA Knight, I had such high hopes for. Backstage, AJ Styles just cuts a promo, or it's more like a video package, a message to LA Knight, and LA Knight is backstage. He's furious over the message. He takes a steel chair and he beats up the TV, and that's your build for LA Knight and Styles. Last week, Styles wasn't even on the show, so all this just tells LA Knight to just relax. And then this week, AJ Styles sends a message from, who knows, a basement somewhere, chilling out with Kane and Mick Foley, Mankind. But he cuts a message for LA Knight, and LA Knight just beats up. LA Knight just beats up a TV. You just had better. You were hoping for better. It's LA Knight, it's AJ Styles, man. It's Io, it's Bayley. These are weak builds thus far. Then we have Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. This ends in a schmaz with AOP coming out, then the Street Profits, then Scarlett Bordeaux gets involved. B-Fab smacks the taste out of Scarlett's mouth, the yellow off her teeth. And that's pretty much this segment. So that hopefully they're hoping that gets you interested in like the 6-man tag at Mania or whatever they're going to do. Maybe it's an 8-person. You add in Scarlett, you add in B-Fab. I'll be fine with that. No harm, no foul, but nothing to really get you interested in this. And then you had Dragon Lee defeat Angel Garza, I believe was the match. At this point, I was kind of checked out. I had some side business I'm taking care of, and a Dragon Lee match is not high on my priorities. And you just had Santos Escobar. LDF pretty much just took out Dragon Lee afterwards anyway, and they really hyped up the fact that LWO is not even in the building, so they can't even help Dragon Lee. Oh no! And then before we went to commercial, Nick Aldis goes to Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes' locker room, but they're not in there. And Aldis is asking security. Security says, I have no idea. I didn't see them leave. Nick Aldis is pissed. And we went to commercial. The main event spot reserved for The Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins. The reception of the night, the week, the month, and probably the year goes to The Rock, because Dallas, Texas absolutely lost their shit when The Rock came out. New entrance too, the lightning bolts behind him. That was badass, man. If you follow this channel, you know BC's all about the lightning. And The Rock added those effects, just badass. So the crowd is going, and it's always, it's hilarious to see these crowds today because they jump out of their seat, probably not even knowing that they're out of their seat, screaming top of their lungs. They're in awe, jaws dropped, cell phones high in the air when The Rock comes out. And then when the smoke settles, the dust clears out, they feel like they have to fall in line. Like, oh, we're supposed to boo The Rock. That's right. We're going to chant Cody and do the sing-along with Seth. But if you listen to the reactions when these individuals come out, it's nowhere near The Rock. So how are you going to flip out and cheer enthusiastically to a whole nother level? Out-of-body experience type shit. And not cheer as loudly or as vividly for Cody or for Seth, but then totally switch it up once they start talking on the mic. I ain't buying it, man. There was a dude in the crowd who was pretty badass. A big old sign said IWC equals nerds, and next to him was another big sign, so obviously they were together, and the other side says heel Rocky rules. So, I mean, most of the IWC, absolutely. They just, it's on to the next. They constantly flip-flop. They contradict. It's hypocrisy to another degree. That's the IWC in a nutshell. So, I got a laugh out of those signs. A few times Rock and Roman were checking those signs out and kind of just laughing a little. Because it's just hilarious, man. Everybody's doing the Seth song. I'm like, stop. What are we doing, man? And then there's a diarrhea chant. Now, this is when The Rock was really going to get serious with Cody. You know, if you win, this happens. If you lose, this happens. And Cody really wants to have this one-on-one with Rock, verbally. But the crowd hijacks it and starts chanting diarrhea. And again, this is another Texas crowd. A lot of beautiful ladies in Texas. And I feel so bad for them because around these beautiful ladies are these screaming dudes at the top of their lungs yelling out diarrhea. I feel so bad for these ladies that have to go to these events because that's the new chant now. Diarrhea. Awesome. And then people wonder why pro wrestling fans and pro wrestling get such a bad rap. Why do all these ladies not want to show up? So all these freaking grown men around you are going to start screaming diarrhea into the ring. Awesome. So stupid, man. The Rock doesn't know what... Rock couldn't even follow it up. Usually The Rock will send a zinger back to the crowd. The Rock, he didn't even want to. Like, how do you touch that? Like, there's nothing you can even... And if you look at Cody, guys, watch this segment. Watch Cody. He never wanted that chant to ignite. He just wanted to conduct business. And you can tell that the diarrhea chant is below Cody. Cody carries himself in a different way. And you can tell he cannot stand that chant. The second it started up, he tried to tell Rock, like, no, just go, please don't let them do this. And then you see Cody's face. Cody's face is, you got to watch this segment. Cody's face is like, this is not what I want to be a part of. And the only person really giggling in the ring is Sethington Rollins in Becky's big pleather coat or whatever it is. Like fake, I don't even know what he's wearing, man. A giant pillow at the top of it. Honestly, he looks like a bum on Fifth Avenue who's just looking for a dollar or a nip. Just looks so just like a panhandler. And he's giggling because he got a diarrhea chant going. This Seth sing along and this whole what is he even doing with Cody, Rock, and Roman? It just none of this fits. None of this with Rollins fits. And I think that's the piece of this puzzle that just doesn't fit for me. Otherwise, I'd be on board with this tag match. I'd like to say they added a little bit of fire tonight, but time ran out. The Rock ended it with Cody saying, your sister was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Your brother is a Hall of Famer. Cody had to correct him, future Hall of Famer. So Rock corrected himself, future Hall of Famer, he says. In Dustin, and he says something about like, and you were just a mistake, something like that. So the crowd does the ooh, and Cody smacks the taste out of Dwayne's mouth. The Rock has a little grin on his face. He tells Rono, back off, I got this. And because of time constraints, we go off the air just like that. So time management just off. We could have done a lot better. I knew when they only gave these 4 dudes 20 minutes, it was going to go off the rails. It was not going to be done correctly because Rock and Roman alone had 3 segments last week. 3 segments. And I'm totally fine with it, by the way. The way these WWE shows go, just give me The Rock on the microphone for 3 segs. I'm cool. They still popped like a near 2.4 rating just on that alone. So now you have 4 dudes, not just Roman and Rock. You're adding Seth. You're adding Cody. And you cut the time in half to 19 minutes. With the commercial break, it was like 16, 17 minutes, something like that. So I knew this was going to be rushed toward the end. And, I said earlier, I put up an upload a few hours before SmackDown, and I said The Rock cannot carry this entire show. Cody has to step up on the microphone. Sethington has to step up on the microphone. Roman... But looking back at it, I would have just rathered The Rock on the microphone the entire 16 or 17 minutes because, again, hours before SmackDown, The Rock put up this upload on his social doohickey machine, and it was 10 minutes of The Rock doing what The Rock does, slaying the microphone and anybody he's talking about via that microphone. The Rock, for that 10 minutes, it was flawless. You just put that on the television, and that'll captivate the entire wrestling world for 10 minutes plus. But they don't want to give The Rock those type of promos on TV because they know the crowd will be eating out the palm of his hands at that point. They will turn on anybody. Doesn't matter if it's Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Doesn't matter if it's Hulk Hogan. Well, they've already turned on him. But you get the point. They'll turn on anybody because The Rock is that damn good. And after the 10 minutes... you have no choice but to chant that dude's name. So they don't want these type of promos on television. That's why he cut the 16 minutes last week, the 10 minutes before SmackDown tonight. That's what The Rock does, man. These promos that he's cutting just for his social media, these are legendary. No wrestler today, unfortunately, can touch these. Because they hit differently. That's not saying there's not some that are good on the mic. There is some. Cody's actually decent on the mic. MJF rocks it on the mic. But nobody can touch The Rock still to this day from the Attitude Era till 2024. And from what I'm seeing, beyond. Because what he's putting on his social media, these are promos that are legendary. You can't help but take a step back and go, damn, this dude's the shit, dude. Like, nobody can hang with him. And then you get to the TV prop, right? That was 10 minutes of pure gold that The Rock cut hours before SmackDown tonight. And then you get to TV, and it pales in comparison. That wasn't 10%, not even 5%, not even 1% of what The Rock did before SmackDown. Nobody was talking about anything of substance. We're just going over the rules. If Cody and Seth win, then this happens. If Rock and Roman wins, this happens. Obviously, somebody's turning on somebody. Seth on Cody or Rock on Roman. But we just regurgitated that. We got a diarrhea chant. Seth Rollins said, "Shut up, you midlife crisis man." That's what he called Rock. Again, Seth Rollins, man. He's so amazing with the insults. "Shut up, midlife crisis man." Diarrhea Dwayne. And then Cody Rhodes just, what did Cody Rhodes say? I think Cody Rhodes' zinger was, "Rock, can you make that stipulation? Because didn't last week you say that Roman is now your tribal chief?" I guess basically alluding that now you're Roman's bitch. But that was the only Cody Rhodes kind of zinger that he said. I don't know, man. There was times where I felt a little bit of the fire. Again, Seth just looks so misplaced. But I did feel a little bit more, okay, I can put up with this match at WrestleMania Night 1 now. But for the majority of it, I'm still like just lost on this, man. I'm just lost at what we're doing. The Rock came back to have this mega match, this dream match. And because the IWC had a meltdown, we're getting a tag team match. And we got to watch Cody and Roman again, the same event from last year. And I guess the people are hoping that now the story can be finished. But it looks like Roman's just going to carry it anyway to get Hogan's record, unless HHH really just doesn't want to catch any fire. So he's like, all right, just give it to Cody. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I was hoping for a lot more out of this main event segment. A lot more. But that's what happens when you have just people that just can't hang with The Rock, man. You just can't. And Cody Rhodes, big supporter. He's putting in some great work. I wish his booking was better in 2023. But Cody's doing all he can. Roman Reigns is the best version of himself. We wish he was around a little bit more with that title, obviously. But heel Roman is better than forced Roman any day of the week, twice on Sunday. But everybody just pales in comparison when you're standing next to The Rock. When you're trying to rock a microphone and you're competing with The Rock, it's an automatic L. So it comes across that way, man. You can call him a bully, you can call him a part-timer, you can call him an oldie, you can call him all these names you want, but what you should be calling The Rock is legendary, because he's still straight king status. That's it. That's what I got for you. SmackDown 3/8/24. Now just... by the time you guys catch this, it'll be exactly 4 weeks away from WrestleMania, and there is a lot that this company needs to clean up if we're supposed to be excited and intrigued for this event, which I'm hoping we get to that point. But with only 1 month left now, 4 weeks, man, time is a ticking. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC and the Amplified Unit saying check you.